Hey guys, so today we have a Youthforia video. Now this happened a while back, however it didn't get resolved until essentially now. So, well, resolved. We just have kind of like a final say on this whole thing, so that's what I want to talk about, and that's why I didn't talk about it initially, because I just wanted to make sure I've got the whole story. So subscribe, with the bell, like, comment for engagement. Let's just get into today's deep dive into Youthforia. So Youthforia is a makeup company that focuses on clean and sustainable makeup and markets itself as makeup that you can sleep in, according to its website, because it's full of kind of skincare benefits and things like that. So you can basically sleep in it and it allegedly won't do you any harm. I mean, I personally can't wait at the end of the day to take off my makeup, so that's not something that I really look forward to. Even if I'm like wasted, I will take off my makeup. Yep, I'll do a double cleanse routine. That is something that I pride myself on. I don't think there is a drunk enough for me to not do a double cleanse. So they ended up going on Shark Tank, which is obviously the like investment TV show, and Mark Cuban actually gave them a $400,000 investment. A while back, they released a foundation which is supposed to essentially be, you know, the one that you can sleep in. Like, it's supposed to be amazing, and a lot of people did say that the formula was great, it's incredible. Now bear in mind, before this drama started, I'd only kind of heard of Youthforia through the grapevine, and I heard that the foundation was good. I didn't ever really look into it, and then she ended up DMing me on Instagram to send me PR, and I said, yeah, sure, send me whatever you've got. Still haven't received it. To be fair, it takes a while, but it has been a while at this point. I'm like, okay. And I'm calling them out before I've even received the product. So hope no one from the company like doxes me or something as a revenge plot. So they got dragged for their poor shade range, but essentially the owner came out and said that when she first launched the foundation, they didn't have enough funds to like make that many shades. So she just wanted to see if the foundation was even like good enough to make more shades for. And so they had 6 shades at the beginning. Now bear in mind, they also went on Shark Tank to get a massive investment. So like, I don't know where this like lack of money story is coming from. I don't know. But anyway, my opinion on shade ranges is you can literally only have 6 shades if you want. Like that's, well, first of all, everyone's allowed to do whatever they want. Okay, that's basis. People might choose to not support your brand. People might choose to make negative videos about you, but you can technically choose to do whatever you want, right? So that's basis 1. Basis 2 is like, I agree that you can have just 6 shades. That's not what I'm disagreeing with. Like, I think if you're an indie company and you make 6 shades, I will not drag you for the amount of shades you have. What you will get dragged for is the range of shades across those 6 shades. Because in reality, right, you could, let's say if you grabbed like a Fenty foundation, and they were known for obviously having the 50 shades that were like super inclusive. But let's say you grabbed the lightest foundation, the deepest foundation they had, that's your 2 out of 6. You grabbed the middle one, that was your 3 out of 6. You're already covering a large basis of the population, and they can mix the 3 foundations together. I'm pretty sure there's actually a Korean brand that's basically come out that Korean brands are known for not making obviously super inclusive foundation shades, because over there obviously a majority of the population is kind of more fairer skin. So but then once they try and branch out into the Western market, they do try and up their shade ranges, like the recent situation with Titia, right? So there is a Korean brand that actually bought the foundation. They released a skin tint, and one of the shades is white, like very close to white, and then one is much more deep, and then one is like an in-between. And the idea is basically, we didn't have money for a bunch of shades, but you can buy a variation of these and mix them together, and then you create your own shade, which yeah, requires the customer to buy 2 shades. However, I'd rather that than have 6 kind of fair to medium shades and call that 6 shades. Like, I'd rather you spread it out and I just buy 2 shades and mix them together myself, because actually I fake tan a lot, but then I'm pale a lot, so I actually don't mind having 2 different shades. Anyway, all of that to say, from the Fenty foundations, you can grab the middle one, that's your 3, and then maybe 3 just kind of dotted around in equal increments, right? And boom, you've got a super fair to super deep, and then everyone in between can just mix and match the shades. So you can technically do 6 shades if they're spread out, not when here's light, here's deep. You just grab 6 shades from here, and this is your 6. Like, I want a 6 across the range, which will look very disjointed, but at least then, like I said, someone can buy more than 1 shade and just mix it. Because if you just release a fair to medium, I mean, that's it. There's no mixing. That's just the only amount of population that this foundation will fit. So I never really understand this whole idea of like, well, we were a small company, we could only release 6 shades at launch or 10 shades at launch. We couldn't release 50 like Fenty. We didn't have the budget. It's like, no one said release 50 shades. People said release 6 to 10 shades across The shades. That's what we meant. That's it. I don't know what people, and it's like, what's it called? Something incompetence. Like when you're incompetent, but like on purpose. You're like incompetent so that people don't expect more from you. Malicious incompetence? No. What is it called? Basically, there's that word. Weaponized incompetence. Oh my god, there it is. Oh, last minute, just when I said I was gonna look it up. Weaponized incompetence is what I think a lot of these brands do. We say, do this. This is perfect, right? If you do 6 shades across, and then you slowly start bulking in the shades, right? So like instead of having 6, then you're gonna have 12, and you just bulk them up. Like, bulk them up, the shades in between. You know what I mean? And then you add another 12 shades, but then you're just gonna like bulk even more in between. So then people don't have to mix shades. But what we don't mean is like 6 shades, 12 shades, 24 shades. You know what I mean? Like that's not what we mean. And we say this all the time. Like whenever there's a bad foundation launch, it's the same excuse. Oh, we're a small company, we can only do 6 shades. That's weaponizing incompetence. We literally didn't say that. Like we didn't say make 50 shades like Fenty. We said make a good range of shades. That's what we said. I don't know what is so complicated, what is so confusing, but it's literally just weaponizing incompetence because you know what we're saying, you understand what we're saying, and you're just choosing not to do it. Then we have Gloria, who is a TikToker. She does makeup content, and she went viral for testing the deepest shade of every, I don't know why I put that in quotation marks. I mean, does that make sense? The deepest shade. Yeah, I guess, because the deepest shade is different on every foundation, so it's like, is that really the deepest shade of anyway, the deepest shade of every foundation brand that is like popular or something, right? So she'll be like, here's the deepest shade of the NARS something foundation, here's the deepest shade of the Urban Decay, how does it look? And some end up being deeper than her, so that obviously for someone with a deeper skin tone than her, some end up being very not deep, and so they just completely missed the mark, right? Youthforia was one of those foundations that completely missed the mark.
This is the darkest shade. Is the alleged shade here in the room with us. This keeps happening because tone inclusivity is not something these beauty companies are worried about. They do not care. The next foundation we're trying is the Youthforia Date Night Foundation that is literally going viral on TikTok, and apparently you can sleep in it. Let's see if it's tone inclusive. I'm using the darkest shade of $4.95, and this is what this product looks like online. But somehow these are the same color, right? One pump. This is the darkest shade of the Youthforia Date Night Foundation. I feel like I've been lied to so bad. This is what this shade looks like online, and this is what this shade looks like on the model. As we can see here, somebody is lying. There is no way these are the same 2 shades. Are you seeing what I'm seeing? Do we see each other? Rubbish. In 2023, for you to be lying about your shades online and this to be your darkest shade, you know, maybe we should take a step back. Let's really, as a whole, as a company, as a beauty industry in itself, sit down and be like, hey, I have some questions. Like, yeah, you could sleep in this foundation, Pookie, but it's not tone inclusive. For this to be your darkest shade in 2023? Good morning, baddies. For some reason, y'all think I'm lying. Here is the Youthforia bottle, and as you can see, it says shade $4.95 on the bottom, y'all. Here's the Youthforia packaging. As you can see, it says shade $4.95 on the packaging. Regardless of what it is, these are not the same shades, Pookie. I bought 2 new bottles of the Youthforia foundation to see if this was just a production issue or if this is just the shade. 1 pump of my original bottle. This is the darkest shade. 1 pump of the new bottle. This is the darkest shade. 1 pump of the third final bottle. This is the darkest shade.
And she also looked at the shade online that it showed, and it should have matched her, but it didn't. And so she's saying like, who is this in the online shade thing, and what shade is this? Because it's not the one that I've picked up. So what shade is this, right? And it's just this whole thing. So then the founder, Fiona, posted 2 apologies. The first one was like, you know, this is the explanation.
Why do our foundations look lighter in the bottle than they actually are? So in our glass bottles, we actually use frosted glass. You can kind of tell like this bottom part. This makes it look lighter than it is. We use this type of frosted glass. It helps protect the foundation for me. Sometimes foundations, they can break. It's under direct sunlight or heat. I recommend storing it in a cool, dark spot. You guys go to the store, and try to swatch on yourself. Just know that this type of packaging will make the foundation look a little bit lighter than it actually is. So we were going to extend our shades of foundation on the day that I launched our foundation. In a Allure article dated back in September, I told them at our launch event that I planned on extending the shades soon. After launching My Fair Share of Flop, it's always my intention to launch this as a proof of concept, see if people even liked the base formula, figure out if the entire project is such a flop that we have to start over and everything that we've ordered just goes into landfill, or we can kind of extend and expand. So working on shades and shade development, I've actually been working on some of this before we launched the foundation. But I always wanted to make sure that I left some room where I can actually take direct feedback. I love it when you guys send me feedback, especially videos, visuals. It's just super helpful for me. All of that ends up going into a really big document. Then it goes back to the lab. Then we do a lot of in-person shade development to make any other adjustments.
And then it didn't go over well. It was even stitched by Jackie Aina. The second one then she posted was also not very well received. It's just a bunch of buzzwords.
I just want to come on and say that I'm extremely sorry. When I first started Youthforia 2 years ago, all I wanted to do was create a space where individual beauty could be celebrated. And unfortunately, with our latest launch, we just fell short of that mission. I know I could say we're just a tiny brand, and that just doesn't excuse the fact that some of you guys do not feel seen or included, and that is unacceptable. I'm extremely sorry that we did not do a great job by you guys with this launch and with this product, but I'm trying to learn to be better. I've already set up time with community leaders and experts on the best way that we can improve. But for now, just know that we already have additional shades in development.
She also tries to debunk the different shade thing that Gloria talked about with the shade online looks different to the shade that I got in person. She says that's a complete lie, that's not what happened.
And that all the photographs on our website reflect the shades that we actually sell. We would never alter the tones of our photos before posting that online. There'll be more coming from us shortly. We'll keep you guys posted.
So then there was actually an article written that I saw on Jen Love's Reviews video about it, and they had planned for more shades in 24 months time, but because of this controversy they reduced it down to 4 months, and that makes me think that that's where some of this drama came from, was them trying to address the situation way quicker than maybe they were ready for, and they ended up just releasing a foundation that was absolute hot garbage because they reduced it from 24 months to 4 months. I think that's a massive reduction. I think if they had just come out on TikTok and said, yes, we messed up, we have this plan for maybe 12 months, not 24, in 12 months the production will complete. But I think from 24 to 4 months, you can kind of see where some issues would arise from that timeline. So they obviously have the shade 590 and 600. 590 is okay for Gloria, but she does say that the undertone is not right, and if they had just more variations, then the undertone would be better. But then they released 600, which is now their deepest shade, and it is black paint. So and I'm not even joking. So she posted a video on that.
Which side of my face is the black face paint or the Youthforia foundation? You can't tell. You know why? Tar in a bottle. This is jet black face paint, and this is the darkest shade of the Youthforia Date Night foundation. This is black face paint. This is the darkest shade of the Youthforia foundation. A few months ago, I tried the darkest shade of the Youthforia foundation. This is what it looked like on me. I'm gonna apply some of the foundation on this side of my face so you guys can see. Let's just go ahead and try to blend this out, you guys. Enough. Who is that color? I'm gonna wipe this off and let me put the paint all over my face. I'm literally just going in with the face paint. We're gonna do some painting, and let me just go ahead and blend it out with the brush. This is the darkest shade of the Youthforia foundation. This is black face paint. Sometimes it's okay to say, hey, maybe my brand is not made for complexion. I'm gonna squeeze a pump of this on my forehead just right out the bottle so you guys can see that I'm literally not joking. We're gonna do a big blend of this, you guys. When we say that we want you guys to make shades for us, we don't mean to go to the lab and ask for minstrel show black. What we mean is to take the browns that you have made, create undertones, and do what you need to do in the lab so it's a darker shade of brown. This is the darkest shade 600, and as you guys can see in the bottle, literally jet black. The shade right next to it, shade 590. This is what it looks like in the bottle. Here is shade 600. You guys, there could be 10 more shades in between these two shades. In addition to that, when we go to the actual website and we look at the swatch, not only is the swatch online literally jet black, there's literally only 4 or 5 shades for people that actually have dark complexions. Not really for black people, for being honest. Not only in 2024 is this so disgusting and disrespectful, but this needs to be pulled off the shelves.
And people are agreeing with her. dragging the brand. But then some people are dragging her for being like, well, you wanted a deep foundation, now you're complaining that it's too deep. It's like, that's not really what the point is. It's like, if you saw the video, it literally looks like black paint. And then Javon Ford responds and breaks down the ingredient list and talks about how this looks like black paint because it literally only has black pigment in it. Whereas all the other foundations, they'll have a variation of different pigments, like a yellow and a red and a, you know, to make the undertones, because a beige isn't just like I'm white, but I'm not like white. You know what I mean? I'm like a bit of yellow and a bit of red and a bit of something to create like a beige. Right now I'm tanned and my fake tan looks atrocious. Who is she and what is she doing? Clearly not fake tanning correctly. I don't know. I just have really dry hands. I wash my hands way too much. That is like an issue that I have, okay? So my hands are like so crusty and dry. I just need to moisturize more before applying fake tan. That's the tea and the shade. So he breaks this down and says that a deep shade of foundation shouldn't just have a black pigment in it. It should have a bunch of different pigments to create a deeper brown, which is essentially like, it's like that typical like racist thing that was like, black people are just black. No, like you say black people, but really it's just different variations of a brown shade. Like regardless of how deep it goes, it's always like a deep brown. It's never actually a black paint. You know what I mean? Like there's always an undertone to it. There's always a bit of yellow or a bit of red or a bit of something. Whereas this was literally just foundation with black pigment. That's it. So it was literally black paint.
Which side of my face is the black face paint or the Youthforia foundation? T, you can't tell.
I wanted y'all to see something first before folks start gaslighting her and other black creators in the comments. So this is one of Youthforia's lightest foundations. If you look here at the bottom of the ingredient list, you'll notice 3 different colors. Stay with me now. The CI stands for color index, and it basically represents titanium white, red, and yellow iron oxides. Pretty much the only colors you need to make a lighter shade of foundation. But then if we look at their darkest shade, the ingredient list tells a different story. Here, there's only one pigment, CI77499, which is just black iron oxide. No other colorants. This foundation literally only has pure black pigment. Here's a close-up if you missed it the first time. And before folks say, oh, maybe it's meant as a mixing pigment, that makes no sense. Anyone who's ever taken an art class will tell you that black is a terrible pigment to mix with, because it just makes things gray and muddy. And skin tones typically have some combination of eumelanin and pheomelanin. The pheomelanin is where we get the red and yellow undertones. And this problem is so avoidable. She literally could have used NARS or Fenty foundation shades as a benchmark. This brand does not care about us.
Now, they did this weird skit about scouting a model for this shade in Dubai and using like a passport photo booth to take the picture and put it online. This is so, like, it just seemed like a skit. Like, it seemed like a joke that someone posted about Youthforia rather than what Youthforia actually posted about how they are scouting a model. Like, this should have been done professionally. I don't know why. I guess it's that 24-month to 4-month cutting down pipeline situation, because wow.
I'm super stressed because I need to find a model for our darkest shade of Youthforia foundation. We reached out to modeling agencies in Miami, New York, and LA, and it was really hard to find models for our 4 darkest shades. So a month ago, we held a casting call to just look for real people, real skin. We found matches for most of our shades, except for our darkest shade. For reference, this is Youthforia's darkest shade versus Fenty's darkest shade. So now I'm on the other side of the world, and I'm street casting, which means that I'm going up to people and asking them if they ever thought about modeling. I'm such an introvert, so of course I dragged my husband along, and we are literally going to malls and cafes and asking people, have you ever thought about modeling? I'm a little bit nervous because we only have a few days to launch this, and we've already been ghosted a few times. It is launch week, so I'm super stressed. I hope we can find a model in the next couple days. 2 days ago, I told you guys how stressed I was. I'm looking for a model for the darkest shade of Youthforia foundation days before launch. I don't have enough time to do a full photo shoot. I'm on the other side of the world, street casting and getting ghosted. Alvin and Jack graciously agreed to be our models. We don't have a ton of time. I went to a mall and decided to do a photo shoot at the mall. Here I am trying to be the videographer, but also the makeup artist on set. It was honestly so chaotic, but kind of fun. I found a camera store that agreed to email us a photo. It's just gonna have to. Here's the 2 darkest shade of Youthforia foundation. 100 is a cool neutral. And Alvin has great skin. I am applying it while holding the camera. It actually blends so easily into his skin. In all of our website photos, we always just do half a face of no makeup, half a face of Youthforia foundation. You can see the before and after, but he has great skin. This undertone was actually perfect. And then Jackson actually was so sweet. The entire time we were just talking about my journey trying to grow Youthforia. He was like, I hope your dreams come true. Same thing here, left side no makeup and right side with foundation. Then we were ready to pop into this passport photo booth and get some photos taken. I was a little bit skeptical about whether or not this would work. Would it match the style of photos that we normally do? But wait, these photos turned out so well. Now our shade grid is finally complete. I'm so excited to launch these 10 new shades.
The models that they used for this weren't even the shade of the foundation. Now, Jen Loves actually has a great theory about this skit in her first video on it, and how they made that foundation work for the models when in reality the foundation does not work on those models.
When you see the swatches on Alvin's forehead, you see 590 is too light, definitely, and 600 is too deep. He would probably be somewhere in between there, but he is neither of those shades. The next flashes are very fast. Here it is in real time. Now let's go ahead and slow that down a little bit so we can see what's happening here. It looks like he has 600 on in the first shot, then blending in 590, then back to pumping shade 600, then back to 590 again. When they cut to using 600 in the next shot, you can clearly see that it's too dark for Alvin's skin tone. As she's blending, the camera angle goes down and gives more light to the face, but you can still see that it's too dark. Note that she's also using a beauty sponge, which will give the lightest coverage possible. I'm assuming here she's hoping that Alvin's skin tone is going to shine through this black foundation. For a brief second, the shot gets cooler, and it looks like Alvin, to me, it looks like he has a bruise on his cheek, but that's the foundation. Here is Alvin's finished look. We get great, beautiful lighting for the before photo, but the after photo is darker and warmer. When he turns his head, it does look like they put a bit of 600 on his face, but you notice that the apples of his cheeks and other high points of his face don't look like they have foundation on. The other thing is they never give a good shot of the left side of the screen in the after, so you can see the differences in the same lighting. So the question was this intentional? Of course, I have no proof that this was intentional. I wasn't able to talk to Youthforia and ask them, but it appears to be intentional to manipulate the video.
And so that's probably a theory that I agree with the most. Like, that's what I think happened. Now, there are a bunch of responses to this whole situation. So for example, there's a girl that does ballet, and for ballet they obviously customize their own like point shoes, and sometimes for different outfits they'll have to paint them a different color to go that, because it will come in this like standard whatever color they have. And she used a Sharpie to color them in, which didn't look black, it looked kind of gray, like a little bit off gray. And so then she took this foundation to use it as black paint, and they literally looked black, like more black than the black Sharpie.
I'm going to put Youthforia's darkest shade on my point shoe to see if it matches the one that I put black Sharpie on. I had to put black Sharpie on my point shoes when I was cast as a Harlequin doll in the Nutcracker, and a lot of you wanted me to try Youthforia's darkest shade. It's not necessary to finish the whole thing. You can see for yourself. This is the Sharpie and this is Youthforia. There is absolutely no undertone here. Even the Sharpie has a bit of a purple undertone. Here you can see it a little better with a white background.
Which just goes to show like what pigments are in this foundation. It's obviously just black pigments with like a base to it. And then Kevin, the guy who shaved his bumhole on YouTube, and that video is still up as far as I'm concerned, tried the darkest shade on himself. As you can imagine, he is not that shade, so it looked like something that he shouldn't have done. But he just does rage bait content. That's his thing. He literally shaved his bumhole on YouTube. So, like, he makes rage bait content, and so rage bait he did. And I'm not even gonna take that too seriously, because he's just, if we just ignore. Also, when they did that skit about the Dubai models, they also at the time as promo were going around and comparing their foundation shade to the deepest foundation shades of other brands, including like Fenty and stuff, and they really thought they were doing something with this. Like, they thought they were slaying. They were like, oh, this is gonna be the deepest shade of all time. Gloria, just you wait. And instead, you know. So then literally 6 days ago, they posted an apology? No, a statement on Instagram. It says, our commitment to providing inclusive products. We care about our customers and we continue to drive change. We are creating a new position internally dedicated to examining both our current products and those in development so we can best meet your needs. You can read more about our values on our website and learn more about the role on our careers page. And that's literally all they said on Instagram. So someone said, it's been what, 5 weeks now? No apology. Shade 600 still available for purchase. Deleting negative comments on previous posts. Come on, Youthforia, you can do much better than this. If you're truly sorry, throw out the PR team and the carefully constructed statements and just say you're sorry. Be honest with your customers, and for pull 600 off the shelves. Best meet your needs. Sounds passive aggressive as hell. It actually does. So then if you go on their website, under our commitments, it says Youthforia was founded with the goal of creating a safe space where individual beauty could be celebrated and that people can be true to themselves. Providing inclusive products is 100% aligned with our foundational beliefs. Over the last year, we expanded our shade range based on feedback from the Youthforia community. Inclusion is a lifelong pursuit, and we are continuing to listen to community members and industry experts to help drive meaningful change across our industry. In line with our commitment, we are creating a new position internally dedicated to examining all products in our development pipeline before the official launch to best meet our customers' needs. I went to careers, and so they are looking for a director of product development. So this will be just one person, not like a bunch of people. So one person will be responsible for making sure that they never do this again. I think it's like a big job, you know? So the position summary is Youthforia is hiring a director of product development to lead our product development efforts with a focus on inclusivity and the creation of a diverse product line. This role will be instrumental in ensuring our products cater to a wide range of skin tones and cultural preferences. The ideal candidate will have a deep understanding of product development processes, project management, regulatory requirements, and marketing strategies, coupled with a strong commitment to DEI principles. So then you have the key responsibilities. You'll manage, you will deliver, you will serve, you'll travel, and you'll be responsible for sourcing primary and secondary packaging, testing, the DI initiatives, conduct thorough reviews, collaborate with key vendors, engage with BIPOC community members, lead initiatives to increase representation, develop, implement strategies, project management, regulatory compliance, product marketing, and then you need qualifications of a bachelor's degree in marketing, business, product development, or a related field. Advanced degree preferred, minimum 7 to 10 years experience in the industry, experience in leading DI initiatives, strong project management skills, excellent communication, deep understanding of regulatory requirements, passion for diversity, and that's, I guess, their stance on this whole thing. So let me know what you guys think. I wonder if they're still going to send me the products. I mean, I'm not really like asking for them anymore, but it's just funny that like they DM'd me right before this happened, and I was like, oh yeah, sure, and then I saw this whole train wreck happen. I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to talk about this now before they even send me the products. So I don't think we'll be doing that anymore. But let me know what you guys think. Subscribe with the bell icon for engagement. I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye guys.